With modern technology, it's a lot different than it used to be 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's not the dirty back-breaking job that maybe some people might associate with construction.
Hi, I'm Tim Peterson from Maritime Plumbing.
My name is Jason Conitzer. I am the manager at Hallman Lindsay Paints.
My name is Sean Perry. I work with Hubbard Electric. I'm a master electrician.
Hi, I'm Mark from Pekarsky Builders. I've been in the building trade for probably 30-some years. I currently own Pekarsky Builders with my brother Dave.
My name is Chris Herzog. I'm Vice President of Business Development and Marketing for ACE Building Service. We're a commercial and industrial design build general contractor.
My name is Terry Welnick, President of Manitowoc Heating and Refrigeration.
At Maritime Plumbing, we do just about every kind of aspect of plumbing. So we could be at your house fixing your faucet, cleaning a drain. We also could be in the hospital working in the operating room, installing medical gas lines that, take care of patients when they're having surgery. We could be in a local factory running process piping, meaning air piping, gas piping, cooling supplies and returns. There is so much involved in plumbing.
Typical day in HVAC basically is coming in the morning, get your job, grab your truck, your equipment, tools, and head out. And what it normally looks like is, in the installation side, is sheet metal equipment, pipe wrenches, pipe fittings, tin snips, stuff like that. And then in the service side, we are using service equipment such as nut drivers, screwdrivers.
The one nice advantage of being a painting contractor is that it's a job that you can get into relatively easily. You can work your own hours. You can pick your own schedule. If you want to take off a day, you take off a day, as long as you're getting your things done that you contracted out for. So you can kind of go as you want as a schedule.
My name is Jesse Durabic. I work at Brown Building Center, and the career I chose was in design and architecture. So back when I was in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So ultimately, I just made a leap and went towards architecture because 2 members of my family have done it in the past. Every job is unique, every design experience is different. Normally I'll come into work usually around 7 in the morning, start working, and I'll have clients come in throughout the day or go out to job sites or meet with builders and discuss design options.
So the type of projects we work on, typically new home construction, new home renovations, kitchens and baths, and additions. So it ranges depending on what the client wants and what their scope of work is. So we typically meet the clients, discuss what they want to do, and then we go to their house or their site, what they want to build on, have some meetings in our office, do some design work, and then from there get prices on everything and get a contract going.
What is the typical responsibility of an electrician in the field? That would be, for the most part, you're putting in and installing light fixtures, you're installing receptacles, you can be doing a lot of different things. You could be pulling wire for the lighting and the receptacles, installing breaker panels. You could be working on machines and making them run, programming machines. You could be installing fire alarm systems. You could be installing computer and data telephone receptacles. There's a lot of different aspects to the electrical field that you could get into. Commercial, industrial, residential, depending on what you prefer. You can wire houses, and apartments. You could get into wiring schools, banks, churches on the commercial side, and then industrial side you could be in manufacturing, wiring, like you said, machines, or food processing plants, working on those type of facilities.
So the typical day is, there's really not a typical day. The interesting thing about construction, one of the most unique things, is that every project is different. Every job is its own fingerprint. It's unique. In the business development side of things, I can respond to people that are looking for, how much is this going to cost, generally speaking? Is it $200,000? Is it $2 million? Are they way out in left field with their budget? Are they close? It can be people that I'm responding to that simply just need a door replaced. Renovations, interior renovations, large equipment foundations for manufacturers, you name it. It can range from anything to everything.
You're doing something different every day. You're working with all different kinds of tools, all different kinds of trades. You're never doing the same thing over and over again. It's always a challenge, new experiences. Large scale excavators, skid steers, dump trucks when we're doing underground plumbing, and then we'll work with your everyday hand tools, channel locks, screwdrivers, all the power tools, sawzalls and drills. That is just about every job requires those tools.
I really enjoy my job, what I do now, especially after working as a contractor for that many years and being able to step into the store and know what I'm talking about with customers. As far as the paint is concerned, the old standard was always oil-based paints for almost everything a long time ago. And the technology now is changing to all water-based products. The transition over to acrylic products and water-based products that perform just as well has really changed the industry quite a bit.
People that start off as a general laborer wind up being the owners of companies. It happens. Training for what I would say a general laborer or specialty trade position, a lot of it comes on the job. Companies like ours do offer apprenticeship programs. The apprenticeship training programs focus on how to read blueprints, how to estimate materials, doing simple material estimates, and most often they're either paid, a part of them are paid or they're paid in full. Their natural progression would be from a laborer to a lead person to a foreman, then on to a superintendent. Where they can go is capped by their own potential.
I particularly like my occupation. There's a lot of advantages because you're doing something different every day. In our occupation, we're doing gas piping, ductwork, refrigeration lines we're running. We do fireplace installs, chimney work, sheet metal work, welding. There is a apprenticeship program that is available. That is a 5-year course, 4 years in schooling, and then 1 additional year in the trades. So it's a 5-year program. There's also a 2-year associate's degree for service, which is done locally at NWTC.
Typically the education and training that you go through is through right out of high school. You want to get yourself hired with an electrical contractor just to get some experience. Depending on how well you do, be offered an apprenticeship. The apprenticeship is a 5-year apprenticeship, and when you're after that 5 years, you take a test out of there, and you become a journeyman electrician. And depending on the amount of hours you put in, you may qualify to take the master electrician's test and become a master electrician.
So the education in Wisconsin to be a journeyman plumber requires a 5-year apprenticeship, going to day school 1 day every other week for 8 hours, and then night school. And you take courses like welding, blueprint reading, transit, layout and design, and a lot of various classes to help with what you do every day in the trade. And that's one of the greatest benefits of being in the trades is you get paid to go to school. So you're in school for that 8 hours, but you're getting your 8 hours of pay. Typically the employer you work for takes care of your schooling, paying the bills, the books, all of your education. So when you're done after your 4 years of school and then 1 year on the job training, you come out debt free.
Construction is very satisfying work because it's an instant gratification. As soon as you get done with a job, you can see that what you did. It's a fantastic trade to get into. Like myself, I went to college first, but you wouldn't have to. It does help us out on the business side of it. So the college education was important for me. I do use it. I use it every day. But you don't have to go to college to get into the construction business. 30, 40 years ago we shut it down in wintertime. No one worked in wintertime in construction. Now we work right through. So we're working out in the winter. We have inside jobs, we have cabinet jobs, we have basement renovations in the winter, and then we have new houses in the winter.
The idea that somebody can sit across the table from me and say, this is what I want to do, and we're able to interpret that and then build it, is just, sometimes you kind of have to pinch yourself that that can actually happen. The most rewarding thing at the end of the day is that you get that time, that period where you can sit back and say, I did that, I built that. These things are going to be around for longer than we are.
The future outlook for plumbers is great. There are not a lot of people getting into trades. Our workload is growing daily because the average age of a plumber right now, I believe, is like 63 years old. And we are going to need more and more people in the trade.
You don't have to have a license to be a painter. That is one of the trades that you don't have to have that actual schooling to have a license for, which makes it easier to break into as well. And the nice thing about it too is that when you walk onto a job and when you walk off the job, you can really see what you did, because you've completely changed what the place looked like from before to after. You feel like there's a sense of accomplishment when you're done.
With my kids, we drive through town and I can point at 8 different places at one stop sign that I've been able to touch that building and do something for them or for that person or for that customer. And I can just drive down Calumet Avenue in Manitowoc and know that I've worked on probably more than 50% of the buildings that I'm driving by.
People that are in the trades can make a very handsome living. Journeyman carpenters, lead people are well over $30 an hour.
There's a very strong demand for people in the field. It seems to be extremely strong demand the last 4 or 5 years.
One of the biggest satisfying points for me would be you're driving by on a weekend on a building that you worked on or completed. It could be a tall hotel or a high-rise building or a manufacturing plant, and you're driving by and it's famous, it's made its name, you hear about it all over the place, and you can say you were part of building that building.
We have a massive shortage of workers. Right now we have a very low supply of workers, which means the wages are very handsome right now as well. But the biggest thing that I don't see that demand stopping. Pay is largely commensurate with your ability and your willingness to learn, your willingness to drive, your willingness to outperform what the norm is.
So as far as making a living wage, and I look at it a different way than just a living wage, because once you have this information and once you have this trade knowledge, you can fix up your own house, you can fix up your own cabinets, you can fix up everything. So it's not only that it gives you the money on the front end, but now you can fix up your own house instead of hiring someone else like me to do it for you. And you can do a lot more once you pick up a trade. So I have employees right now that are picking up houses, that are living in houses that they renovated.
The typical salary for a plumber in Wisconsin varies from apprentice to journeyman to master plumber. So you started out as an apprentice and you could be making anywhere from $12 to $15 an hour your first year. Then it's a graduated scale. It goes up by percentage of what a journeyman makes in this area. So when you are completely done with your apprenticeship and you've passed your journeyman's test, on average you'll make anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 in this area.
If you are working on your own, if you start your own painting company, and the range is probably between $25 to $40 an hour. There's not a lot of young painting contractors coming up through the ranks. So it's not a hard trade to break into and have success.
Well, the trades in general have a lot of opportunity. The workforce is getting older, and so there's always people looking for positions in any of the trades. One thing I like about my trade is that we do other people's trades in our trade, so you have the ability to do everything and see what other trades do, because we touch on so many different ones. Normally, starting out, you're probably around the $15 an hour range, and that goes up to the probably $45 an hour range.
Starting out, you know, you're going to make $10 to $15 an hour as an apprentice, and every 6 months you get reviewed and you get a raise based on how well you're doing in the field. By the time you top out, if you work a full year, you're typically making $50,000 to $60,000 a year. But in our trade, there's a lot of opportunities for overtime where you can make more. And then if you go beyond just working in the field and get more into the office, you can be a project manager or an estimator and get closer to the $70,000 to $100,000 a year. Everything around you requires electricity, so there's always a need for people to install it. If you're not sure you want to get into trades and you do want to try college first, by all means go for it. It doesn't matter when or how old you are to get into the trades. They will always accept you. You can do an apprenticeship at any point in your life.
I think there's a tremendous opportunity for young folks to enter the industry who are energized and excited about construction, to take the place of some of the older folks that are leaving the trades. For me, construction has been an extremely rewarding career path on so many levels.
I wish you luck in no matter what you do, whether it's any field in the trades, but if you're in architecture, whether it's residential or commercial, I wish you good luck, and I can promise you it's a very rewarding field with good pay and a family-sustaining job for the future.